Hey guys, welcome.
Hello.
This is Don't Worry Wednesday, as you probably already see in the title.
Hey guys, welcome.
Yeah, the show where
This
we
is
basically
Don't Worry
actually,
Wednesday. Joe, did you want to be
as
the
you
host?
probably already see in the
Yeah.
title.
Hey guys, welcome.
Yeah, the show
Did you
where
stop
we
us?
basically
Don't.
did
Silence.
what did you have the video playing? Did
Uh, Silence.
what did you have the video playing? What are you doing to us?
It's back now.
What did you have the video playing?
Can
What are
people
you
see
doing
us?
to us?
It's back now.
There's no echo. Echo in
And
the
there's
stream.
echo.
I'm
Yeah.
listening to the stream right now. There's no echo.
Suddenly Bright says there's echo. Silence again.
Echo in
And
the
there's
stream.
echo.
I'm
Yeah.
listening to the stream. Coming in so late. I don't know. And it wasn't doing that until we started streaming. Coming. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. See, there we go. Okay.
Here?
Yay, we did it. We figured it out. All right.
Maybe. I don't
So
know. Is there an echo still?
there's no echo.
There's no echo.
All right. I don't think there will be. Did you want to host this time, Joe? Or do you want me to do it again?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you were really good at it, so why don't you do it again?
All right. I'll just start. I'll pretend that I'm going to do it and then you can pick up where I
Oh, and
stop.
then you want me to do it. Okay.
Yeah. So, hey everybody, welcome. This is
Welcome
Don't
to Don't
Worry.
Worry Wednesday, because it's awesome, and here we are Wednesday.
Yes. And it's still Wednesday for us. I don't know. It's not going to be Wednesday for you people in Europe. But you know what? I can't make Wednesday last forever. And
You're gonna
Thursday's going
say,
to come and you're going to worry.
"Don't worry, Thursday."
Yeah. Don't worry, Thursday.
Worry
Okay.
Thursday. Yes,
Nice.
that's.
Yeah. Yep. And
And I'm a
then
big nerd.
don't worry, Friday. That doesn't work with Friday.
Well, luckily, it's probably not Friday anywhere yet.
That is the case. I can't imagine that it is.
Right.
Hey Ryan, how was the wedding? Just kind of curious. Yeah, the wedding was super awesome. It was really, really great time. Thanks for asking. But yeah, we're here to talk about you guys, not about us. So yeah, if you guys are experiencing anything you're worried about or going through any issues today or in your life right now, whether it be something with your parents or maybe just at school, maybe it's overcoming, some kind of depression. Maybe if you got college coming up soon, you're not sure what you're gonna do yet, or maybe you've got your friend has issues and you want to help them. You're trying to figure out how to do that. There's all sorts of different things that we have to worry about in this lifetime, and we're here to help you through that. Um, as the description says, you guys are supporting us, and so this is us supporting you right back. So thanks. Hey, Ro, nice to see you. Long time no see. Yeah. Oh, it's on a day off. Well, congratulations. You've made it.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Ro recently won our T-shirt artwork contest,
Oh,
which
yes.
was very fantastic. I'm not even sure how those are how long it's going to be before we get those, but it won't be
Yeah, I'm
long.
not sure.
And the
Yes,
artwork
it's
was
in the
there, and
works.
it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, bro. You're amazing. So good. I was gonna add you to a moderator, but then I almost accidentally clicked on put you in timeout, Ro. So feel lucky
You
that you're
put
not in
people in
timeout right
timeout?
now. Yeah. I'm
That's
making a
pretty
bunch of people moderator. Like everybody in the room is a moderator because I know them all. All right, that's great. Um, cool. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like any of you guys have any issues. You guys go out into the world and mess things up, so you can come back and be like, "Hey guys, I have this issue. Please help me with it."
Well, you know what we can do though, Ryan,
Yeah, yeah.
is we can go to our
Hmm.
forum, and there are some Don't
Hmm.
Worry Wednesday topics in there that we didn't get to last time,
Yes, that's
and we
true.
can answer some of those. Um,
Yes. Were they written down?
uh, they they were ones that oh boy, we got we got a whole bunch of mods on this page.
Yeah,
So
none but mods. Yeah, fight amongst yourself now.
right.
Just ban each other and whatever you have to do to get on top, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
hmm Well, some of these we had addressed on the stream last time,
Hmm.
but some of these we had not. And one of them, let's see. Did we answer the Dark Crimson Wolf Gen question? I'm still a freshman, and I do keep wondering about others. There are just so many more people that I see that are younger and more talented. How do I find a way? How do I find a way to find a place in the world as me?
Yeah, no, we didn't cover that one.
We didn't. Okay, you want me to copy and paste it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's see. Let's see what it does. There we go. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm still a
So
freshman, and I do keep wondering about others. There are just so many people, many more people that I see out there that are younger and more talented. How do I find a way to find a place in this world as me? Interesting. Ah, yes, very interesting. Cool. That's a good one. Would you like to start, or would you like me to start off?
go ahead, Ryan.
All right. You know, uh, I can't remember. As strange as this is, I think I was gonna quote. I was gonna quote somebody, but I can't remember exactly how the quote goes. I only remember the concept of the quote, so maybe I just won't even worry about saying the person's name. Although, just because you're gonna be curious now, it was Bill Clinton of all people. Um, but um, anyways, I think modern culture, and this probably goes back a long time too, in many cultures, that if y- your place in the world is based on um, your abilities and talents and so on. Um, and while that is true in some ways, um, I think life is not just that dull. There's a lot more to life than that. You know, there's always going to be someone better than you, no matter what it is. There's always going to be someone better you, or someone that's going to be better than you within a couple of months, or you know, whatever. Even if you're like you win the Olympics and you're the fastest runner in the world, I bet you there's someone who's faster than the guy who won the Olympics. He just didn't try out for the Olympics, or you know, um, or the fastest runner in the world. It doesn't even matter because that's to to define yourself based off of your talents is not really um, giving yourself uh, the dignity that you deserve. There's more to you and life than just being talented or being the best at something. Um, and so, yeah, there's going to be a lot of younger people who are better than you at a lot of different things. I'm not that great of an artist, and I know a lot of artists who are younger than me that are amazing at
Mm.
it. You know, or hey, even this. I mean, I write music, but there are people younger than me who write music faster than I do, who are better at mixing or mastering or coming up with melodies, who can play the piano and play anything they want on the piano immediately, hear something and just play it. There's all sorts of different facets of music, and people are better than me at. Um, and younger people and older people um, are, are better than me in a lot of different ways. But that doesn't um, that's not something that I'm worried about. all I can do is what I can do. I was given everything I need in this world, all the talents that I'm supposed to have in order to do what I'm supposed to do. Um, and yes, I can definitely improve in those, and I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to improve in my passions, improve in my talents, improve in the way I see the world, and talk to people, and write music and everything. You know, these are all things I had to get better at and grow at. But it's not about being the best. Everything that we have is a gift, and we should be thankful for what we do have. You know, we don't get to pick whether we are born with both arms or not. You know, and so if you are, be thankful. you know, because there are people who have less arms, and guess what? A lot of times, those people are the people that inspire us to try harder. The people that have it hard, the people that have the least amount of talent, usually if you watch a movie, those are the people that are like, yeah, that person's like me. And they're the person that we're rooting for, the underdog, the person that doesn't have the natural ability to just excel and exceed and do awesome. You know, those people inspire us. And those people oftentimes do the most for the world and in the world because they have to struggle to get where they're going, and that struggle teaches them persistence. I
Mm,
think people who have it really easy don't have that sense of persistence because they didn't necessarily have to try. I've met a lot of people who are just naturally talented at things, and um, they might start a few songs, but they never finish. Or they might, you know, they might do some amazing things. You know, like you hear about prodigies and stuff, like little kids that are like 3 years old playing the violin and playing amazingly, but you don't hear about them any more than that one news article. Like, where are they now? We don't know. We don't see them impacting the world. And that's not because, you know, they were born with because all of their talent was in their youth and now they're not very good anymore. It's just that there are things to be learned through the struggle of life. And we are all given what we need to have in order to do what we need to do in life. Um, so, you know, life isn't all about talents. And those people who have it hard, because they don't see their own talents, they might think they have no talents. Um, Trust me, you have everything you're supposed to have. Um, so yeah, you just be you. Don't worry about being the best at something. That's not what determines whether you are important or not. You're important either way. You know.
mhm. Yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely. You know, there are a few comments have come through from some of you guys on this question as well. Others may be better, but they do not have your still of doing stuff. Like I would imagine, you know, what you're talking about is this is Tef Bano. Um, I hope I pronounced that right. But at any rate, I was going through an audio production course, and they were talking about how subjective sometimes this production is. Like you may listen to something and that somebody else has done, and you think, oh my gosh, they're so great, you know, and this and that. And but don't forget that part of your job is to bring something unique to the table. And just like just like this, you know, you have a way of doing things that nobody else has a way of, and that makes you unique.
Hmm.
And you know, so it's really hard sometimes because we get caught in the trap of comparing ourselves to other people all the time. I mean, you know, our culture is so good at that. We get all these beautiful people in Hollywood paraded in front of us all the time, and we automatically compare ourselves to them and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm not that pretty, I'm not that cute, I'm not that skinny, I'm
Oh,
not that,
you totally are
you know,
though.
strong." What's that?
I said, oh, you totally are though. You're so pretty.
Yeah. Um, but, you know, each one of us is us, and there's nobody else like us. And there was a great story because when you think of finding your place, I think all of us want some form of acceptance from others. You know, we always when we talk about finding a place in the world, it's a place of acceptance from others. It's a place where we can feel at home, and others, you know, think we're cool, or others think we're all right, you know. And one of the things that you can do is, you know, um, Ryan was talking about some world record breakers and, star athletes and different people that who have achieved great things. And, you might remember some of those people go down in history, but where you can go down in history for an individual person is how do you make
Uh-oh, your audio cut out. Or did mine? Joe? Joe? Joe can't hear us. Oh, no! Broke it. He was saying something so great too. He was right in the middle of it. Uh, Joe! 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 We can't hear you, and you can't hear us. I said it's. Joe. Uh-oh. Apparently my audio is lame. Yes, it just did. Um, um, nope. Nope. No audio yet. Yeah. Um, did you try turning it off and on again? I don't even know. Joe, can you even hear us? No, there's no response. Ryan, take over for now. Okay. I have no idea what you were saying though, Joe. I mean, I was on my edge of my seat, listening to what you had to say. So I can't just I can't take over for you, you know? I don't I don't know what you're gonna say.
Hey guys.
Hey, hey, welcome back.
So
Woo.
that was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that was weird. That just happened out of nowhere. In the
It's
middle of the
well, at first I thought it was my internet, but or my audio, but I think it's the internet
Oh,
because the video on the Zoom was all messed up too.
oh
So
man. Well, hopefully. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. And you're
in sync with what though? Because you couldn't hear what was going on.
yeah, in
That
sync
could
with
have been.
silence.
But that, my goodness, all of a sudden I see all these comments in the comment box, and I see Ryan's hand.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, nice, nice.
and
So
row,
you were in the middle of your
sugar,
your your
row.
your thought process. Um, before
So how
you
far
cut
did I
out.
get?
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let me tell you. I don't remember the exact thing that you were saying before you cut out. Can anyone tell us what he was saying before he cut out? I think I can go to the
I'm gonna try
YouTube
something.
page
This
and
might help.
replay.
This might help. Guys, I have a problem.
I'm going to listen to his sentence where he cuts out. Oh, you're talking about this. Okay, so you're talking about people who achieved great things like star athletes and how they go down in history. And then the way that you can go down in history as an individual, it cut out there.
Oh my gosh, that was such an important point.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Actually, it puts you on the edge of your seat. You're in the middle of a sentence because you say how you how you go down in history as an individual person is how do you make, and it cuts out, and it's like you gotta be kidding me. Like that's like we're missing the one word that actually connects this. Okay, so there you go. Now you
Yeah,
know.
okay. Well, so here's the point. Like, so you might remember people that go down in history that have achieved awesomely huge things, athletic victories, all that kind of stuff. But the way you go down in history for an individual person is if you can make them feel important. So if you can, when you're trying to find your place, a lot of times we want to feel accepted. A lot of times we want to feel, if we want to be accepted by other people, one of the best things we can do is accept others, to give acceptance to someone else. Proactively give that to someone, and two things will happen. First thing will happen is you will feel less self-conscious. So you will feel better about yourself and about the world around you. And the next thing is you have just more than likely 99 times out of 100, you will have gained a new friend, and somebody, you will make an impact in their life. And then that gives you a really special place in that person's heart, which is way more important than finding a special place in the world. If you can find a special place in the hearts of the people around you,
Mm.
my goodness, there's nothing more rewarding than that. Because then you're in a position where you can have an impact with these people and you can really, really help. And you will be held in such high esteem if you can give these people that food of acceptance that they crave. And I tell you, you'll just be amazed at what happens around you.
Mhm.
So that was
That's
the point I was making.
Yeah, I see it so often. Usually it's not the case for everybody, but a lot of times people that are successful are the people that surround themselves with really awesome people who are driven towards success, or who are uplifting, who are constantly lifting each other up and supporting each other when they fall.
Hmm.
um, those type of people usually get a lot farther in success in the world, because I mean they're constantly growing from their relationships with each other, and they're always supporting each other. And if you can just be that support for somebody, that really helps you move forward in the world. Is as strange as it sounds, I think a lot of times we get this idea that kind of like, excuse me, there was some imagery that was given to me at one point, actually by a speaker on stage. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, um, and like a bunch of crabs in a bucket, and it's too high for them to get out,
Hmm.
they actually can get out if they work together. You just need to stack 3 of them and they'll get out. The problem is they'll never get out because of the way that the crab's mind is designed by nature. They constantly see the one on top and pull him down to get on top of him. And so I think a lot of people see culture this way. We have to drag others down in order to get up on top. We have to be better than other people in order to be on top. But it's not about being better than anybody in order to get on top, or in order to have a place in the world or to be noticed. Um, Actually, a lot of times, like in this scenario, if the crabs would just actually work together and support each other, as soon as one crab started to support the others, like, hey, I'll be on the bottom, I'll help you guys out, they would start getting out, you know? And then who's the important crab, of all of them that helps them all out? It's the crab that was the supportive one, not the one with the strongest legs or the one, that had the biggest body. It's the one that decided to support. And that's true in this world too. If you support others, um, in their success, it'll bring you up with them. Um, and you'll learn a lot from this scenario and start to grow in yourself and get success in however you want to use that as well through your experiences and so on, by supporting that person. Even if they decide to betray you and don't even want to be your friend after you help them out, you still learn a lot,
Oh,
and you
absolutely.
still, you know, yeah.
And you gain a lot of strength through that experience as well.
Hmm.
I remember reading a book where the guy had said your value as a person, oh geez, and it wasn't, not as a person, but your value, like, in this was related to business.
Like in
So
your
your value,
field.
Yes, yeah, that's perfect. Your value in the field, in your field, is based on how much more you give in service than what you get in payment. So the more you give in service above and beyond what you receive in payment, that's your true value. So if you just give enough to fulfill what you've been paid for, then your value is flat, like right there, like at
Mm,
level 0 right there. But the more you give on top of that, the more you strive and the more you strive to help your customer in this case, you know, your value in your field goes up by that
mm,
level. So I mean, it was really interesting, and that makes you stronger. That makes you more confident. That makes you more able to handle things that are coming your way. Um, it's quite an amazing thing as you start going down that path because we don't think that way intuitively. I've got
sure.
I've got two young boys, and you know they're always talking about how things aren't fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. I know it's not fair. I tell them get a helmet because it's not going to be fair.
Ever.
you
That's
know.
good.
So,
It's good that it's not fair.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because then how else would you grow? You
How
know.
would you, if everything was fair, how could you ever give more?
Yeah.
You know? How would there ever be a start to anything? I mean, the very fact that you exist, you did nothing to deserve that. You did nothing to earn it. You just exist.
Hmm.
And if you had to do something in order to exist beforehand, then you wouldn't exist because you can't. You will never be able to repay, uh, you know, whoever brought you into existence. For bringing you into existence because it's just there's no equal to that, you know. And so yeah, it's wonderful that the life is not fair. I think a lot of times we see the negative side of that, but it's actually really really awesome.
Yep.
That's why a lot of times I say like I don't believe in deserve. Obviously I do believe people should get what they deserve to a degree, but at the same time, um yeah, along the same lines, it's really nice that we get way more than we deserve a lot of times. You know, we didn't work for so much that we have. We just have it. And
Mm-hmm.
everything is a gift, you know. We should use it as a gift and give it to others as well.
Yeah. Very
So,
well said.
you too.
So shall we? There have been a few other questions asked in here, I noticed.
Yeah. Well, let's please.
Ro wants to know how to save money.
All right.
That's a really good question.
Actually, Ro, I have to compliment you on your money, your finances, because I've noticed that you've s- uh, saved up in order to pay off your debts for college loans and so on. So that's an awesome move right there. That's great. I'm not a big financial guru. Joe knows a lot more than I do, so I'll let him take the lead on that.
Well, I noticed here that she whispered that. It was a
Oh,
whisper.
it's a whisper.
It was a whisper with a laughing face.
Oh.
So I don't know. Maybe I was like, for a minute there, I was like, oh, she said whispers. Maybe that means she wants to keep it private. But then I was like, but it's written here on
How do you save money? It's like that.
I was like, yeah, once it's written, there it
So once it's written, there it is. Once you see it,
is.
you have seen it.
Yep. I can't unsee it now.
Yes.
Um, I don't know. Saving money can be tough. Generally the principle is, pay yourself first. If you're trying to save money for something, anytime you get paid, put money in for that first, you know, and figure out, if you're upside down in your expenses where, you're spending more money than you're making, then it might take some time of looking into what you're spending money on and reducing that. All of us are disciplined financially It's just some of us are disciplined from external sources.
Hmm.
It's way better if we can learn to discipline ourselves. 'Cause then, and sometimes the way we discipline ourselves is harder than the external world, but
Hmm.
we all end up being disciplined financially in some way. So sometimes it's tough, and there are times, sometimes being self-employed, you know sometimes some months I make a decent amount of money over my expenses, and then some months it's like, oh man, I'm gonna have to call some of these people and say I'm gonna make your payment a little bit late
Hmm.
because I don't quite have enough. But
It's good to call them, by the way.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
better to call them.
you can attest to that.
Oh yes, it's better to call and try and work it out rather than just wait and not make contact and not make contact for a few years, and then eventually someone knocks on your door with a lawsuit. That's usually a tough day, especially when it's Thanksgiving,
Ooh.
because they're trying to get a hold of you and you're never home, and then they figure you're going to be home on a holiday, and so they hand you your lawsuit on Thanksgiving. Not that I would know that from experience.
Hmm. Right. That is a very interestingly specific story, though, without any a generally specific story.
Yes, yes.
Um, some things you might actually that might help you in what do you call that? Practice. Um, so you eat food every day. You go shopping for food. There's a couple of things that I do, and I see other people do for saving money. That is, um, one, you have to have self control. You have to have self discipline, self control, and that basically, you know, in order to work up self control, sometimes you have to do unrelated things in order to get better. One thing that I do for self control, or used to do, is fast from a specific type of food. Fasting is basically like, okay, so I have a sandwich. I take a sandwich for lunch and I eat half of it. And then I let it sit there on the counter where I can see it for, I set a timer like 2 hours. And I'm like, I'm not going to eat that sandwich for 2 hours, even though it's sitting there staring me in the face. And it's like, yo, you could just eat me. I know you're still hungry. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then you wait 2 hours and then you finally eat it. Um, and if you can do that a couple of times, maybe, maybe only an hour, maybe only 30 minutes, whatever, whatever's going to work for you and your schedule. But um, if you hold off for just a time and you do that, you know, twice a week or whatever, or maybe every single day, however you want to do it, the more the better, you'll get stronger at being able to deny food when it comes in front of you or any other struggle that comes along the way. You'll be
Mm.
able to say, um, no, I don't have to do that. I'll just pass. I'll just pass. Even though I really do want it, I'll pass. Self control is an acquired talent. It's acquired habit. It's acquired state of mind, something you have to work at. So when you go in this grocery store, always say, do I really need that? That's what I say about everything. Sometimes I look at something and I'm like, oh, that looks good. Oh, and I'll be like, but do I really need it? No, no, there's cheaper ways of getting this out there. Things like that. Every once in a while, I'll get myself something special, but most of the time, I don't. I don't. And I've never regretted not getting this special thing. I've never regretted choosing to hold back buying stuff that I don't need. So, yeah. And I tell myself that with ice cream. Yes. Nice.
That's an exceptionally difficult one to.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing the practice where you're trying to wait 2 hours before you eat it, it's gonna be melted. Just then you're having now it's two and now it's double deal because now not only do you have to wait 2 hours to eat it, you have to eat it as soup. Um, but anyways, um, so Excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. Spring, you're right. That's a great definition. Uh, it's what fasting
Yes.
is a way of depriving yourself of something. You choose to deprive yourself. It's not like you're
Hmm.
being deprived. You just decide,
Right. You decide
I'm
on
not
your.
going to. But I remember I never fasted until I got to meet Ryan and his brother Kyle and got to know them better. And then, I was like, oh, I could never do that because oh man, I just
Mm.
man. And to hear Ryan's story about setting a sandwich in front of himself and like looking at it and just not eating it, I'd be like, no way.
No,
There's
how is
no
that
way.
possible?
If I knew that sandwich was not somebody else's, I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta eat that thing, man. It's right there. It's in front of me. It looks so good." Unless I had mushrooms on it or something, then it'd be nasty.
You put mushrooms on it for like 2 hours and you take them off. I'm just kidding.
That's it still smells and tastes like
Oh,
mushroom.
it would be mushroomy. It would be
It would be
mushroomy.
awful. Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
But no, you're so right about how that discipline, just doing that, even if it's just like you decide, "Okay, I'm going to not eat lunch today. I'm gonna eat breakfast and I'm gonna eat dinner, but I'm not gonna
Mhm.
eat lunch." And then even, I used to be like, okay, I'm gonna do that because it would be good for disciplinary purposes, and just to increase self-control. I mean, it's such a powerful practice for that, like Ryan was saying. And so I eat like an enormous breakfast, huge breakfast.
Oh, so you cheat.
and
Okay, all right, go
then
on.
I'd be like, and then I'd skip lunch. And then I'd eat dinner. And I was like, "Hey, I fasted today. Yeah." You know? And I
Mhm.
was super excited about it. And then
Which is
from there,
good. I mean, at least you.
progress.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's
it's
really
progression.
about it's the practice of denying yourself, and it comes
Mhm.
like when you're at the store, when you're in front of food, all these different things. If you can get in the practice of denying yourself something, man, the discipline that you develop there, if you put that into your finances, you'll be amazed at how quickly you can turn a poor financial situation around.
Mhm.
It really makes a difference. But
Another practice you can do with buying stuff at the store, don't grab a grocery cart. Only get what you can fit in your hands. If you're
oh man,
shopping for like, only a couple of days at a time, Some people shop for a month at a time. Obviously, you can't do that. You will starve to death. Um, but if you're shopping for just like the next week, see what you can fit in your hands and take that. Or get a
yeah,
tiny cart and say, I'm only gonna fit this basket. If I'm not going to take any more than what can fit in this basket. Then you'll be forced to kind of think creatively and figure out how you can stack things. No, I'm just kidding. Um, you're forced to really say, what do I need and what do I not need?
hmm
And when you see that thing, like, that catches your eye and you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I could get that and that would go with this and blah blah blah, but I don't have room for it. So nope, I'm gonna get only what I came for.
hmm and don't go to the store when you're hungry. That's
Unless you're
just a little
always
tip.
hungry. Yeah.
Like if you've been fasting, maybe
Mhm.
shopping's not a good thing to do when you're towards the end of a fast.
Yeah, when
Because
you're
then
like,
you're just looking around and going, "Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. That looks
mhm.
good. That looks good." I'm so hungry. Oh man, I just really need. Oh my gosh, I need all of these things. That box of instant potatoes, yes.
Yes.
Eggs, steaks, hamburgers, all of it. Yes,
Mhm.
all in my cart.
Nice.
Chocolate
Potatoes. Yes.
and
Uh,
potards.
and po-tarts. Yes. Many a po-tart, many a day.
Yes, Princess Yellow. Don't grocery shop when you're
Don't
hungry.
crush yourself
Do,
when you're
do
hungry.
not do that. You start eating with your eyes. That's so true.
So I likewise don't go dress shopping when it comes time that you need a dress. Like, shop for a dress or your suit on a day where you're like, I don't need one. Because usually it's like, oh man, I only have a certain amount of time left before like I have to, do my event. And so you just buy whatever you can and it's super expensive.
Mhm.
Planning ahead is important. So yeah. Try to find things on sale that you'll know you'll need in the future, but not the immediate future. Save that way.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, we
anyways,
don't have to talk about food anymore, guys.
yeah, we're done with that. Let's talk about the next thing that someone said and try to figure out how to bring food into that.
Perfect. So Jesse said that who was it that had the question? Nihilus put a
Thanks.
question in there and but it was long or something. Was it too long to fit in the chat? Oh, perfect. Okay.
Got it.
You want to read it so we can
Yeah,
okay.
that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Ah,
That is definitely a good enough problem for a Don't Worry Wednesday. Because
absolutely.
that is something, man. Yeah, too long for YouTube. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, wow. I don't know. Ryan, you want to start this one off?
So basically, you have a friend. You had a friend for a while, and now you've become kind of distant, and you guys aren't talking to each other much, and you're not sure how to remake the relationship come back together so you're talking a lot more often. Is that the case? Is that how it is? Did I understand that correctly, Jesse? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, yeah, yeah. You know, there's things you can do to try to make that relationship spark again and spend more time with them. Just making yourself present, But there's only so much you can do, and there's only so much you want to do. It's important to remember that you should never base how you feel about your life off of another person and what they're not providing for you.
Mm.
Um, sometimes we kind of get caught in this illusion that hey, we've got all these friends, we're hanging out, and oh man, life is awesome, blah blah blah. And so then when you stop hanging out, life seems like it sucks. Or maybe it's like, okay, he doesn't like me as much as he likes this other person, which is totally respectable in a situation where he's got a girlfriend. And I know you're not seeing it as like a bad thing that he has a girlfriend, but yeah, we can get caught in this idea where we think that, you know, we're not important enough, or, life just isn't as good, etc. But it's important to remember where happiness comes from. Happiness comes from a lot of different places. Happiness is a lot of times is a form of satisfaction with yourself and who you are and your placement in life. And if you are perceiving the world in a way that you you're relying on somebody else to make you feel happy, then 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 days, you're not going to be a happy person because you can't expect somebody else to do that for you. Um, and I'm sure you already know that, but it helps to have that reminder. It helps to take a step back and be like, yeah, yeah, you know, uh, I need to be in control of how I feel. Um, and so that starts with just having an attitude about life, um, that you perceive it as an enjoyable thing, as something that you are thankful for, and always be thankful for what you have. There's only so much you can do, you know, with friendship. I remember Joe one time told me, it was a brilliant statement. He said, you know, a lot of times, when we're kids, we go up to another kid and we'll be like, will you be my friend? Will you be my friend? And that's completely the wrong way of thinking about friendship, because friendship isn't something that you get from somebody else. It's something that you give, and you have no part in what the other person gives. You are either a good friend or you're not. and
Mm-hmm.
your friendship is reliant upon both people, but you can only account for one of those people. So you have to remember that, um, you know, all you can do is be the best friend you can be, and um, you know that's all you can do. And if there's nothing more you can do, then to worry about it is kind of in vain, right? It's something that you should tell yourself, "Oh, okay, I can do nothing more, so guess there's nothing to more to worry about, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Just be a good supportive friend, supporting their life, supporting their choices that are good. You know, um, love, is a strong term, but I'll use it in this scenario. Love. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm just talking about the general friend love, or even in romance. This is the state. Love is defined is this: to desire what is best for another person and being willing to help that person achieve that. Um, that is love. Very, very simply put, wanting the best for another person. And as long as you're doing that, there's nothing more you can do. You know, um, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So be proud of yourself in that. Um, yeah, as for different things you can do to help rekindle your friendship with them, I'm sure you can come up with scenarios where you can just go out of your way. Sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone, and just make it a point to do something with somebody, um, or spend a day together. It's not easy, especially when everyone has different things to do.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you have to get your outside your comfort zone, make a statement you don't necessarily want to make. Talk to them about it. Say, hey, I'm kind of feeling like, it would be cool to hang out. And I've been feeling this for a while now. Would you mind, like, getting together someday? I'm sure they would be like, yeah, yeah. What do you want to do? When do you want to get together? And then you guys can schedule and hang out together for a day, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because humans, we're not meant to be alone. It's good that we have relationships and we're supposed to keep those relationships alive. Um, but another thing is friendships, they part in time. Naturally, they do. I've had many friends in high school that I don't talk to anymore. Even some of them were my best friends. Actually, all of my best friends in high school, I don't talk to anymore. Um, Not because they're bad people, but just because we just don't talk. We have no reason to. We've fallen out of touch with each other. We've tried to get back in touch, but it just didn't happen. And we're all okay with that. Um, you know, I think when we're younger, our lives and how we think about ourselves is heavily determined by our relationships. But as we get older, um, relationships are still extremely important, and our ability to hold them is important. But we realize we move on from one person to another. We get thrown in life into new situations. We get thrown into new groups of people to make new impact on other people. Take what we learned from friendships long past and apply them to new friendships coming along the way. It's a beautiful journey, this life of here are my friends now and here are my friends later, um, and acquiring new friends and instilling your love into them, which will change their life for the rest of their life. It's okay that we lose friends, and it's great that we get new friends too. Um, this isn't that you've done anything wrong. It's just naturally part of life. And you, like I said before, you can take what you've learned from your previous friendship and apply it to the next. And however that person has impacted you in your life might get passed down to impact another person in their life. And that's how one person's affection and love and care for another person changes history, because we change individuals through these interactions. So don't ever feel bad about a lost friendship that just naturally ends, um, without any cause of uh, hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Just be thankful for what you had, because that's awesome, you know, and apply it to, use it for your future relationships with other people. Anyways, I hope that helps. And do you have anything you'd like to add to that, Joe?
I think only. I
Sorry for
mean, I've
talking so long.
no, no. That was great, great stuff, Ryan. And and I would second everything you said. The only thing I would add is just that I've been on both ends of that type of a transaction. And romantic feelings are an interesting thing. You know, you got hormones added in there, you got all kinds of,
Crazy emotions.
extra yeah, exactly. It's weird. It changes people sometimes,
Oh yeah,
you know.
totally.
And you know, um the thing that Ryan said that was most important was the fact about loving them. You know, they're in a relationship now. It's, she, this uh I have to look up at the question again, but I think it was his best friend has a girlfriend now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it? Okay.
Yes.
Um yeah, so I mean, she's obviously a very important part of your friend's life, and and she's going to take up a lot of his time because there are feelings that are probably very, very strong for her, that he has, and now that's going to require a lot of his focus. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can love them both as a couple, man, that's great.
Yeah,
And
support them both.
exactly, in that way, even if you don't spend as much time together, you will still maintain a friendship with that person, even if it's from a little bit of a distance. you know sometimes the best way to love somebody is from a distance anyway. I'm sure we all have some people in our lives and family members and whoever is like, I love that person, but it's best if I love them and they're over there and I'm over here. you know if someone's your best friend, obviously that's a painful thing to think about. I'm going to be separating from this person some, you know and anytime we feel like we lose a friend, it's painful. There's some pain involved with that, and
Mhm,
I don't want to sugarcoat that fact at all, because it's just a reality that we all deal with. When a relationship ends, there's some pain involved, um, to
mhm,
some degree. And the more important somebody was to you and how abrupt the change was, I mean, all that can play into the level of pain that you experience. But um like Ryan said, if you can love them together and if you can love her as well as him, even if you don't see them as much, as long as you don't as long as she doesn't see you as the old best friend who's trying to drive a wedge between them, you know, then you'll probably at least retain some good feelings from her, and then you won't lose your friend completely. But that's yeah, I've been in the situation where it was a very painful thing. Friendships were completely broken and there was anger, there's all kinds of stuff, it was crazy. But that's the most painful kind, when you can, when there's a really hard break, nobody's talking to each other anymore, we're totally not friends anymore at all, we don't have good feelings toward each other. That is really hard and
mhm,
really painful. So if you can maintain that, if you can fill your heart with love for both of them, even if you're not going to be with them as much, that will go a really long way to at least retaining the friendship.
mm. So they've added that they're thankful for what we've said, and the hard part is that their GF, their girlfriend, kind of dislikes him.
Sure.
Um, don't really know why, but um, it's hard to like them as a couple because of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that makes sense because, I mean, really, a lot of times, I mean, she probably may feel a bit threatened by you, even if you haven't even done anything, just from the fact that you are his best friend. There's kind of this territory
Mm,
thing going on, and it just kind of automatically is that way. So she probably kind of automatically has this dislike for you. But even in the midst of that, um, it is hard to like them as a couple in that sense. I totally
Hmm.
agree with that. Um, at the same time, if we only love people who love us back, then what, I mean, everybody can do that. Anybody can do that. If you can learn how to love someone who doesn't love you back and still love them as a person, even if you don't have much contact with them, you still maintain some love in your heart for that person. You have shown that you are an incredibly strong person and an incredibly valuable, part of your best friend's life. Because even though she might dislike you, she probably doesn't even know you well enough to dislike you. Maybe she does. I don't know. Maybe you're all in the same school and everybody knows everybody and who knows. But, you know, I think if you if you can still have love in your heart and show that, even in the midst of her disliking you, eventually that'll break down some barriers. And who knows? I mean, relationships sometimes last a long time, sometimes they don't last a long time. And your friend's girlfriend, they may end up ending their relationship, and if you are there and you maintain that friendship through love, then when the relationship ends, you'll be there for your best friend. You guys will be just it'll be like picking up where you left off. Be no big deal, you know.
Hmm.
But if you do things to damage the relationship in the meantime through, hatred, bitterness, all that kind of stuff, if you harbor those feelings in your heart and let that show, then if the relationship ends with your best friend and his girlfriend, you may not get your best friend back at the end of that, you know.
Hmm.
There's so I think, as Ryan said, man, love, even when it's hard, that's the most important time to love, is when it's hard.
Hmm. That's true. Hmm. Yeah, great points. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah,
I hope that helps you, Nihilus. And yeah, I can understand the situation. It isn't easy. Um, and I can totally understand not liking them as a couple because you see this and you're like, I think she's not good for him. If she's treating me like this, then I can't imagine her as being a good person for him. And they're together, and maybe it's not good for them. I could totally see that going through my mind. But it's important to, like Joe was pointing to, love them. Just kind of be accepting and wish for the best, period. Even if you see issues arise, or even if they are having a fight between them, always try to do aim for the best and support both of them. you know um there might come a day where you and her are even closer than him and you are. There
mhm,
might come a day that you are, the best man at their wedding, and you just hang out with them for the week, and you guys are having a great time. Um, you know, all of these things are possible. You don't know where life's going to lead you, but it's important to every step along the way treat them the best that you can, even if they treat you like dirt, because they'll regret it. And no, no one gets away with treating someone like dirt without feeling bad about themselves. You know,
sure.
um,
Well, and the
people.
rest of the world will see too,
Mm-hmm, yeah,
you
and
know?
yeah, yeah. It'll make you stronger for it. Make them stronger for it. Yeah. Hopefully that'll help. Hopefully all that is good for you.
Yeah. So I got a few people asking if we're asking more questions or if we're
Uh,
answering more questions. I Sure.
yeah.
I don't
Um.
know. I can keep going. I don't mind.
All right, we'll do another one. We'll do one more. Why not?
So I don't know. I guess it depends on if they're quick or not. Princess Yellow and Noah Boltima both have said, yeah. And
Yeah.
for anyone, if we don't get to your questions, then um,
Come
put
back
them.
next time. We'll
You
talk.
can, We can, yep,
4
you
for
can
the
come back
North.
next Wednesday. We're here 7 o'clock ish.
Ish, yes. Yeah, this
seven
time
o'clock.
we were in the middle of setting up for the first time on Jesse's end, transferring files and all of that, but next time it'll be 7 o'clock.
Yes. And definitely go to bss.studio. That's not even a hyperlink. Or maybe it is.
Yeah, you just had to put HTTPS in front of it.
Wow, whatever. Go there, and there's a Don't Worry Wednesday section. You can feel free to post your questions there.
Yep.
Hey, there it is. Now it's a link.
Yeah, either, if they're short, we can answer them both, or if they're long, then we'll just answer whatever one comes to us first. Between
Or we might answer
Noah.
them both.
Yeah, we might answer them both. Princess, I love you. So, Noah, we've never really talked, but I love you too.
You guys are so polite. My goodness. Everybody's
Aw,
like,
you guys,
you
yeah.
ask, you ask, you ask.
No,
That's great.
yeah, you guys are amazing. No, Noah, please, what is it? Noah, I'm gonna ask you. Go for it. Even if it's long. Because I know that Princess will be back next time. For sure. Because because Princess is amazing and she's always here. And yeah. Noah,
You
please
need
go.
to make her a moderator.
Yeah,
Make
she's
Princess
supposed to
and
be.
Noah moderators. They need to be mod. What's Sonali's question? Oh, will the streams on this channel be deleted later or will it be kept? They will be kept.
They will be kept, and we will eventually try to split them into like segments. So it's one question basically at a time. That way, people who don't want to, people who are intimidated by looking at a 1 hour long video will see like 15 minutes and be like, oh, okay, that's not too bad, and listen in. Or they'll see
Well,
8 minutes.
that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and not only that, like, what if we decide to answer both these questions and we end up here for an hour and 45 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because,
Yeah. I mean, it
then
doesn't
somebody's
hurt
gonna be
anything to
looking at an hour and 45-minute
Yeah.
video. Oh my gosh,
Yeah. Even if it's long, like there's no harm on my side. I mean, I don't have anything particularly scheduled. I know Joe might have some stuff to do, but
Mhm.
it doesn't hurt me to continue on. So, I mean, we'll go as
Yes.
long as we need.
Yes, Noah. So right now I'm about to finish my first year of university. Congratulations.
Yeah, nice job.
Due
Congrats.
to family issues, I am having to start supporting myself entirely from next week onward, and I am terrified.
Oh man,
I understand.
please go.
Huh?
Please, you first.
Oh, okay. So let's see. I assume your first year of university has been paid for since you're about to finish it. No idea how that's going. What I should be doing. Feels too early to be entirely self-dependent and put myself through the rest of school and possibly later degrees. Yeah.
hmm
My goodness. So you have a whole mess of things hitting you all at once and not feeling ready for it.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough to make anybody feel scared. And man, um,
Thanks for coming in and putting that out there, because
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your question. My
yeah,
goodness. So basically, I mean, when you have a really complicated issue, I mean, like this, you've got multiple things to contend with. I mean, it sounds like there are family issues. So are there relationship issues that are compounding the fear of the finances as well? That'd be one question I would have to that you could maybe so we could kind of get more of an idea of what's going on. But
just a brief.
um,
If I disappear, there's a storm outside, so I might lose internet, but hopefully not.
hopefully not.
We'll continue.
Yeah, I'll try to take over for you, Ryan.
Yeah, to say everything I was gonna say. Good luck.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I don't know if that's even a possibility. Um, okay, so I mean, one question you can ask yourself in the midst of this is I see you say you don't have an idea of where your life is going or what you should be doing, then might not hurt to take a year off from university, and maybe find some work to earn some money and support yourself for a little while you do figure it out. I know there's so many forces in our culture that tell us that as soon as we're done with high school, we need to go to college immediately and da 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 da, and then you'll figure it out as you go. But the problem with that is a lot of times people we end up getting a lot of student debt, and um, and if you don't know the direction you're going while you're getting that student debt, the debt isn't really going to help you. It's just going to be harder when you get to it. So it might be a good idea to take a step back and go get to work doing something to earn some money. And then in that time period, maybe some things will become more clear on where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to be going, all that kind of stuff. Um, get residency for tuition. Okay, perfect. So you do have some of that time. That's great. Um, so
Good.
yeah, well, I'll say this. I remember a friend of mine, um, that I went to high school with. He was the only reason is my mom's a college professor, and she taught human anatomy, and so anybody who was in a nursing program, like she basically had them in her class. And she could always tell when it was somebody who just kind of willy-nilly decided, well, maybe nursing, maybe I can do that, or maybe whatever, maybe I can do something in medicine, and this is where I got to start. And those people always really had a lot greater struggle in class, right? I remember this kid that I went to high school with. He never got all that good of grades. He was a good musician, played heavy metal guitar like you wouldn't believe. Awesome, awesome guy. But he never really wanted to make music a career as such. He never wanted to push into that direction as much. It was just kind of fun for him. And eventually, I don't know what happened first, but I know he got in a relationship and was getting married and decided that his calling was to go into nursing and to go into medicine. And man, if he didn't ace every single class, because then he had a purpose for why he was there, if he'd have just gone this, and he didn't start college until 7 or 8 years after he was out of high school.
Mm.
And then he had the motivation, because he wasn't just going there because that's what you do. You just go to college when you're done with high school. That's just what you do. No, not necessarily. It depends on what you're going to do, really. I mean, I would encourage you to find out what direction you want to go in before you start spending the money on university, because then you'll actually be motivated to do it, to do all the
Mm.
work necessary while you're there, and you will excel way higher at it once you have that purpose in mind. And man, so yep, I understand the difficulty of having to support yourself. You can, if there's going to be a major like you've got to move somewhere immediately. You might want to look for some friends that maybe you guys can split an apartment or a room or something. Go find a job or something where you guys can work, and where you can then live with this person. But there are options out there, and I think one of your biggest dangers in this is to succumb to the fear and let the fear cloud your judgment. You know, one of the best things you can remember is that people all over the world go through this type of struggle all the time, and you can handle it too. You know, you absolutely can. And sometimes you need to get a pen and a piece of paper and start writing out, different options as far as, okay, how am I going to make money? How am I going to live somewhere? Are there people I can live with? Are there people I can room with? Is there a place where I can crash on their couch for a few weeks while I find this, you know, thing out? There's all those different things, and just start writing it all down so you can see it, and then you'll have it clarified in front of you, and that will then take a lot of the fog out of the situation, so you won't be dealing with the fog anymore, the fog of the uncertainty and the fear. If you can get rid of that first, then you can start focusing on the solutions, and then you can start making the phone calls and contacting the places and the people, and doing all the things you need to in order to line everything up. But if you can get rid of that fog first, and that starts with really making an assessment of where you're at and then what exactly needs to happen, then it's just a matter of, taking those steps. And I know I think I brought this up in the last Don't Worry Wednesday, but one of the exercises I like to do when I'm faced with this is I think to myself, okay, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen in this situation? And think about that. Okay, what's the worst thing? And sometimes it takes a few times. Actually, no, that's not the worst thing. There's something worse that could
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah.
And then you finally get to the point where it's the worst thing. And come to grips with that. Oh, apartment sorted, job interviews, good. Kind of looking up.
Awesome.
Excellent. Okay, after that is what I'm scared about. Okay. Okay. I guess I don't know what's coming after that, but maybe maybe you can post that. Um, but yeah, come to grips with what's the worst thing that could happen. And then when you come to grips with that and you figure out what you would do, say, okay, what would I do if that happened? And now you have a solution, you have a plan for the worst possible thing that could happen. And if you have a plan for that, then it's not as scary. If you
Mhm.
have a plan for what's the worst that can happen, all right, now I'm ready for the worst. Now what you can do is you can start taking steps toward making that a little bit better. So, okay, I don't like this one little part of it. How can I improve this one little section of it so that's a little bit better? How can I do something to make this other part of this better? And then you systematically go through it, and you can really improve the worst situation. And most of the time, you're not even going to have to deal with the worst of it,
Mm.
because most of the time, what we come up with in our heads, that is the most horrifying thing ever, and way beyond what actually could ever happen in real life. You know, so man, but I tell you, and pray. I would say that too, because
Mhm.
sometimes that will lift your heart. Um,
Trying to get to the rest of the school. Oh, keep the apartment. Trying to. Okay.
Yeah, keep yourself sane. I tell you, the best way to keep yourself sane is go to bss.studio.
There you go.
Shameless plug, but seriously, the community there, if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. There are just some incredible people there that just, if you need to bounce some ideas off of, keep coming back to Don't Worry Wednesday, and chat with us and stuff. Holy cow. Uh, but yeah, it's the confusion is the hardest part, for sure. But sometimes if you just get yourself busy, some of the things unfold just as how, they need to. So Ryan, what do you
Yeah, that was all great. That I totally agree with all of that, especially writing it down. Um, that it does clear the fog so much. So many times I'm thinking about something, not even something like it's an issue I'm worried about, even if it's just like trying to come up with lyrics. If I don't write it down, I get stuck in this loop in my head. And,
Mm.
I'm thinking about stuff in loops. As soon as I finally put it down on paper, I I cause myself a little bit of momentum to continue forward. I have written that down. I don't need to go back to that thought. Now going forward, relating to that, whatever I wrote down, now I can actually just start moving forward. So writing something down, oh my gosh, it's
Mm.
so helpful. Uh,
Yes.
thank God for paper and pencil. Or type it on your
Or a
computer.
stone and a piece of chalk.
Yeah. Oh man, I love stone and chalk, chisel, and oh my gosh, I grab out my chisel. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, writing down on paper. Okay, so going on to the thing that you're really worried about, and that is what's your place in life? Where are you going? What field should you go into? Uh, I'll say this. This is um okay. My brother once said, purpose is like a dream that is greater than your own life. Purpose is something that you are well, that's what his statement was. But to define it further, is purpose is something you're passionate about, but it does more than just affects you. It affects others around you. It's applying your passions in the right place to help others move forward and help yourself move forward at the same time. Think about your passions. Think about what you desire for other people. Think about the world and where you can help. Something that may be a nugget of wisdom that you say, man, I wish the world knew this. How am I going to get that to the world? How am I going to get that message to the world? Or, you know, my friend, I just met him at, I was gone for a week to a wedding. I met him there, and his thing is he actually likes doing massage work. Um,
I like this
and so
person.
yeah, he becoming a masseuse. And, um, my comment was to him, and he was super impressed by it because he's like, finally, someone who understands. There's so much more to massages than just, making somebody feel good or, um, making somebody feel um, like their muscles are in a better place or whatever. Um, Massages go really deep beyond, everything does this. There's so many deeper levels in any field.
Mm.
Something that you can really just get into and be passionate about. Like, here's the thing about massages. Massages, yes, they're more than just making someone feel good. They actually help work out the body so that it gets in the correct functioning order. You work out the knots and you get those muscles able to repair better,
Mhm.
and so that the person can actually become stronger from that. Also, physical contact. Physical contact is something that we lack a lot in this world. But
Yes.
even from a stranger, physical contact is something, it not only does it make us feel better, it actually releases chemicals in our brain because of the physical contact that causes us to be in a better mood and to release endorphins throughout our body that helps um, make our body work better. As strange as that is, but it's a real thing. It's been scientifically studied. And yeah, um, massages have existed for thousands of years. And there's a lot of history there. And there's people doing methods and learning from the past there, you know, and there's so much you can learn about the field. But I'm not even passionate about massages, right? And this is what I'm telling him. I'm like, oh man, just like anything, massages go so deep. There's a history there. There's something there. And he's like, yeah, I know, man. He's getting excited, worked up, right? Because he's passionate about it. That applies to every field. Something that you're passionate about, I don't know what it is. And a lot of times people might not think there's a way to make money through their passions. Um, but a lot of times there is. But we have to be able to see it. Um, Sometimes it's kind of meeting yourself halfway and saying, okay, I got to do the stuff I don't like to do but at the same time, I get to do the things that I really want to do by doing that. Um, and combining your passions with the things you detest, regret, or not regret, but yeah, the things you don't want to do. You put them side by side and you run them together. You know, so think about the things you want to do in the world. Think about the people you can help. Thinking about how you make income through that. As Joe was talking about earlier, um, in your field, your value is more so based off of how you provide or support someone well beyond what they've paid for. Your service being everything you give to somebody beyond simply what they paid for is really your value. Um, and that's because honestly, service, whether it's service or creative or um, selling a product, or even just consulting on the phone, everything we do in the economy is driven by how we're helping each other out.
Mhm.
And the people that help each other out the most, even the cell phone companies, because they provide us with the ability to contact each other, that's helping us.
Mhm.
That is how economy works. It's about providing help, and through product or through service or whatever. Keep that in mind. And so figure out how your passion aligns with that, your passions. Um, and your purpose in life, you'll feel it out through that. I went to college for 2 years, and it was actually Joe here, or actually here, Joe, down here. um
That's Ryan, right?
this is
Am I right?
Ryan, this is Joe.
And Jesse
And Jesse
is
is somewhere.
everywhere. She's in the ether.
Ooh. Yeah, so I remember having conversations with Joe, and we were talking about how music can change how people see the world. It can change the perspective. It can change, um, their subconscious mind, the things they care about. You listen to a lot of songs about sex, and all of a sudden you start seeing that in the world a little bit more. You start focusing on it. You start desiring it. Um, and just the opposite, you listen to a bunch of songs about being amazing, how life is amazing, how the world is beautiful, how we're thankful for what we have. And suddenly you start to have more of that kind of view on life, a more positive view that actually helps you move forward in the world and helps other people move forward. And so, me and him having this conversation about that really helped me to understand my purpose in life. And so sometimes just talking about your passion with another person might make you realize, oh, I get it. This is where I'm supposed to go. This is where I'm supposed to be, you know? Um, so yeah, don't be afraid to talk about those things with other people
Mhm.
as well. So I hope that helps. I hope that kind of drives you in the right direction. Again, write stuff down. That's super great. Everything Joe said was super helpful. I'm just trying to help you kind of get a grasp on maybe where you're supposed to go. I don't know. Only God knows. I have no clue. But it's something you can find out and something you can figure out through the journey. And you might have some ideas. One thing that's important to understand is that everything's going to be okay. I
Yeah.
promise. You might have some ideas about what you're supposed to be doing. And then 7 years down the road, you realize, actually, there's this other opportunity now that I really want to take. And you take that. And it's not like your previous 7 years were in vain. It's that they helped you lead up to that point. People job hop in their life many times. Um, you know, and opportunities present themselves through time. Um, take up those opportunities and explore them in your mind and figure out, don't be afraid to do that. So, um, just understand, like, even if you don't feel like you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, because heck, even I don't know what I'm doing exactly. I just know
Half of
that.
my days, I don't even know what it is I'm
Yeah,
doing.
I wake up, I'm like, wait, did I just wake up or have I been up?
I'm just gonna
No.
try. I'm gonna try my hardest. You know.
Yeah, at something. Yeah. Um, but you get an idea for the path. You see where you are, and you get to kind of see, okay, I can do this at least, so I will. And then you do that, and it becomes fruitful. Um, don't ever stress yourself out about where you're going in life, like you have to have everything figured out, because you never will. You
Hmm.
never know what's going to happen, and that's good. Imagine you read a story where you know everything that's going to happen before you even read the story. Someone spoiled it for you. It's not as nice of an experience, is it?
Hmm.
We're not supposed to know what our journey in life is, um, and
Right.
that's
And if
good.
everything just goes good for somebody in a story, that's not a very interesting story either.
It's not. It's
Yours,
not at all.
your life story will be more interesting the more drama there is in there and the more hardship and
Yeah.
struggle and change and different things. And oh my gosh, and what's going to happen next? Oh my
Yep.
goodness. Sounds to me like you've got the makings of a great story going on here.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
don't ever forget this too. Like you're at university and you're going to take some time off of university. Maybe the thing you find isn't going to take you back to university. And you'll be among great company. Bill
Oh yeah.
Gates, Steve Jobs, Michael Dell,
Michael Dell.
I think
But
Jeff Bezos. These guys that
who
started
yeah.
multi-billion-dollar companies
I think
that
Walmart as well,
they were
whoever.
college dropouts. I don't think Sam Walton never even went to college.
Sam Walton never even went to college, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So I mean, you can make a way for yourself whether you go to college or not. And maybe the path you're going to take will take you back to college.
Mhm.
Who knows? But you know, the it's the great mystery what we're going to do, and it sometimes takes a long time to even figure out a direction. And even
Yeah.
then, we just start going in that direction and we start figuring more stuff out the other way or along the way, and we might have to change direction again,
Mhm.
you know?
My m
But like Ryan said, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
It's
My
going to get
mom always she used to always say like, "Oh, I'm not talented. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. What's my purpose? I can't see it." You know? And then she looks back on her life at a certain point, through listening to certain people, she realized, that purpose is more than just, talents and purpose, etc. What you're passionate about. Um, Sometimes they're not so visible, but as you look back into the past, she suddenly realized, oh, I was doing it all along. Like,
Mm,
I had kids to raise and I raised them. I
mhm.
provided for them. And at that point in time, that was my calling. But at a different stage in life, I had a lot of money. I wasn't poor anymore.
Mhm.
And I was helping people. And that was good. Or here, I had this other stage where I had to work 3 jobs in order to provide for my kids. I didn't know what I was doing. But the whole time, she was helping people. She had a good attitude and she was helping people buy houses or, because she worked in real estate at the same time she worked at like, big boys,
Mm,
uh, you know. And so along the way, she's providing all this stuff for people, and a lot of times she's like, I, I felt, I would say she probably felt like she didn't have things under control. She didn't know where she was going in life,
mm,
you know. I think the idea of knowing exactly where you're going in life is an illusion. Nobody knows.
mhm.
You just do your best.
Yeah.
And
And I think too, while you're doing your best and while you're figuring it out, the most important thing you can be doing, like Ryan was just touching on now, is what how are you impacting the people around you?
mhm,
How are you affecting them? The people that you end up working with at your job you take, the people if you end up going back to university, the people around you in your classes, the people there, how can you pour life into them? How can you pour goodness into them? How can you pour happiness into them? How can you make people feel better about themselves? All these kinds of different things. Because one of the things that I've learned, and I have only been on this earth for a handful of years,
7, 8. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
But one thing that I've learned is most of the time when an opportunity comes your way, it's not necessarily because you got an education for it. It's because of a connection you made with a person. You know,
Most
that
of the time.
person then provided an opportunity. So if you can continue to make friends and pour goodness into people and, and love them, what you're doing, first of all, is you're creating a huge network of just good people around you. But also, those connections are where opportunities come from eventually too. So, you know, all of that stuff, I mean, one of the key things you can always be doing is just, focusing on how can I serve the people around me? How can I help the people around me?
Mhm.
In whatever way. It might not be, anything that seems like a big deal. But that while you're going along and while you're moving forward in different directions, all that kind of stuff, pay attention to the people around you and focus on serving them while you go.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sorry, I
Very
totally
good.
interrupted you, Ryan.
No, that was good. I was actually done with my sentence, so I'm glad you jumped in when you did.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I knew I suspected that's the end of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. See, you're a genius.
We've had many conversations. Where
Oh yeah. At least a
at least
handful, like
at least many.
7 or 8. Yeah, at least many or one or more, probably more.
Yeah.
Anywhere, probably like 1 or something.
Anywhere from 0 to more than that.
Yeah, definitely not negative. That'd be weird.
Yeah, we've
I don't know how
not
you have
had
a
less
negative comment.
we've not had less than 0 conversations.
Yes. Uh, actually, I guess in the negative would be like a conversation presented itself, and you just ignore the person, and then you could be negative one conversation because you could have had a conversation with that person. Okay. Anyways.
I just did that. That was my goal.
Oh,
I just
thanks,
I just
buddy.
minus one of our
One less conversation. Oh, life sure is hard. Um, oh, you're welcome, Noah. I hope that helped.
minus one conversation. Do we still have time?
Do we still have time? Joe, it's up to you.
Yep, let's do it. Let's
Okay, I'm
do it,
down.
princess. Bring it.
Yeah. Throw it at us like a hardball. What's your pitch?
We gotta give her a chance to type it out, Ryan. She's got, can't like
You know what, Joe?
what?
I'm not gonna let her type it out. I'm just gonna pretend I know what the question is. Oh
Oh,
yeah. Okay, that's actually a really good question, Princess.
what's the
So,
answer? The answer is go to bss.studio.
yeah, there you go. See, plug there. Okay.
I just said,
Well, there's an acquaintance of mine that likes to study with me. However, I don't have a work ethic when I'm with them. Ah,
ah, yes.
yes, Suddenly Bright. I did release Wonder.
And it's fantastic.
It's all right. I mean,
So, princess, you have an acquaintance that likes to study with you, but you don't have a work ethic when you're with them. So,
it's rough. Okay, interesting.
man, so is your question then how to focus?
It's not like I
He
don't
tends to
like helping them, but
overstay his welcome. Oh,
oh.
yes.
By the way, Princess is in college, in a college environment.
Okay.
I believe she's at a dorm, so that helps kind of bring construct to the conversation.
Tends to
And I'm not okay,
overstay.
and I'm not sure how to communicate this. Mm,
Boy, that's a really good question. Ryan?
yeah. Great, thanks. Yeah, tact is that's a really great question. Yeah, that's a really hard one. All right, Ryan. Uh, that's okay. I gave you the last one, and I was like, "Dang, that's really intense, man." Joe. um,
Knocks down my door.
Next one knocks down my door and study place to
So,
study.
okay, well, I have a question then. So, what's the appeal? Is there does he like you romantically? Is that kind of the vibe you're getting, or
You're welcome, Noah. Not
yeah,
really.
absolutely. Um, or is it because
No,
okay,
okay. Yeah, you don't
so
assume it to be a romantic thing. You just think that he wants to hang out with you and study. But the problem is when you're with him, you notice that your studying isn't as good. And it's hard to just say, it's hard to kick him out because you don't want to offend him or be mean, etc.
hmm,
Oh, he
is
wants
this
an almost
sibling?
sibling relationship. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. That's hard. I totally understand your position. And while it's important to have a sense of what's the word? Tolerance and patience, definitely patience. Um, both of those things are super important, and I know you have those things. You're trying to figure out how to do what's best in the scenario and move things in a different direction. Um, because if the person is causing you to have a bad work ethic or whatever, something needs to change there. And if you're kind of in this relationship where you're like you're uneasy and they're always around you and you just kind of want them to back off or have some time away from them, that can be hard, especially because um, we don't want to make another person feel bad. um, we end up swallowing we just swallow that, and just take it ourselves. And I can totally relate to that. I've done that a lot. Um, I'll tell you that I've never, um, looking back at it, I don't think I've ever really regretted being patient and just dealing with the issue internally, um, a whole lot. Um, so even though what you're doing right now is uncomfortable and you'd like it to change, what you're doing isn't bad. you know, um, Holding off and just kind of letting him walk over you a bit. But at the same time, yeah, it's important, especially in a situation where you're trying to have a better work ethic. Um, it's an important thing to meet people equally and be transparent with each other so that you can have a better relationship. A relationship doesn't thicken and get stronger because someone holds back a lot of times. Sometimes it is, but when there's an issue and it's not taken care of, a relationship usually gets to the point where one person doesn't want to be around the other. And then at some point it bursts and it just like, no, get away from me. Stop coming here, And you don't want that to happen.
Mhm.
You don't want to have a bad image of the person or have this sense of pain every time you're around them. So the best thing that you can do is talk to them about it, even though that's totally outside your comfort zone.
Oh my gosh. That's yes,
Um,
way uncomfortable.
um, and take as much fault and obligation as possible. So you need to come at it with a solving sort of like, hey, this is the problem and I just want to solve it. I just want to, fix the issue so that our relationship can be really great, you know? And if you want to be like my brother, then this is how I would, I want to be transparent with you. I want to be honest, and so if you don't mind, I have a really hard time studying when we're together. You might not see that, but for me, a lot of times I get a lot more work done when I'm on my own. And if you get a lot more work done when we're together, then that's cool. I don't mind helping you out, but um, at some point, I need you to go and leave so that I can start working on my own and get some stuff done. Um, And so it's not like I hate you or anything. It's just that this is the way that works best with my mind, the way that I understand things. So, and I understand it's not your fault. It's entirely my fault. It's just the way that my brain works, and I want to use that, to the best of my ability. This is just how my brain works. And so, if you don't mind, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. I can leave. Yeah, I
Mhm.
understand." Hopefully. And if he's not like that, if he takes offense, if he feels like everything you said is a lie just because you're trying to push him away, then his mind is not in the right place. And yeah, you got to do a little work with him to make him understand, like, no, it's not you. I'm just trying to fix the situation so that, I can move forward, the best I can, and grow the best I can in my work and uh, everything else. It has nothing to do with you. You might have to talk through with him because a lot of people in our society now, um, even in history, past, whatever, I say society now, but technically throughout all history, people are very self-conscious and people think if someone has some sort of, hey, can you get away from me for a second just so that I can do this by myself? People naturally take offense to that. It's
Mhm.
not that anything's wrong. It's just that we all work differently. And there's a
Right.
time for fun and play, and there's a time for working. And those things aren't incompatible, you know. Um, it's just that people who are self-conscious or have a low self-esteem or are depressed quickly assume the worst before they assume the best. And so you have to work at it to make sure that he's going to not assume the worst.
Mhm.
Um, so I hope that helps. But yeah, honestly, there's if you try to take the approach where you're being super subtle and not actually saying what you mean, you're only going to dig yourself in a hole. You don't want to be subtle. You do want to be tactful. You do want to be not in his face, but you don't want to put out signs like, doesn't he understand what my gesture was? Doesn't he know he's supposed to leave? Like, doesn't he get like how I'm acting right now? Doesn't he understand like I'm trying to push away a little? Like, why can't he see that? You don't want to do that. Um, yeah. How would you approach talking about talking about an issue of jokes being unknowingly hurtful?
Now would that be hurt like he's telling jokes that are hurtful to you or oh, and being taken seriously? So does that mean he's not taking you seriously, I'm guessing?
How would you approach talking about an issue of jokes being unknowingly hurtful? Oh,
He
okay.
tell
Yeah.
So and then
That's
he
yeah.
and he doesn't take you seriously?
Yeah,
Very
because
much?
okay, yeah, I have a so in Europe, this
Mhm.
is a common thing in Europe. The although it's kind of weird for me to say that, but um, I'm going to point a finger a little bit at uh,
Europe?
London, London,
Sorry.
not just Europe, not all of Europe, London
Okay.
specifically. London has a specific culture and a sense of humor that is very harmful, unfortunately. A lot of the people that I talk to there, their sense of humor is to make fun of each other a lot,
Mm.
point out each other's flaws whenever possible, and laugh about it. Um, yeah, London. And that's London is in Europe, by the way.
England
Suddenly,
specifically.
England, even more specifically. Now, not everybody in London is like that, but a lot of people I've met are like that. No, no, no. England, yes. England is a place. I'm specifically talking about London as a very specific place, London. Um, so I don't yes, England in general, but London. As weird as that is. It has a very specific culture, different um, than the rest. Um, although it does leak into other cultures, and other cultures have similar features. London is in my mind, from what I've seen and all the people I've talked to throughout the world, the most like this cult. Uh, mostly exemplifies what I'm talking about. So a type of joking that is very, yeah, like I said, it's kind of harmful. And even though they don't necessarily intend to hurt another person, just their sense of humor points out the flaws in others and doesn't edify or lift each other up.
Mhm.
Um, and so it can be really hard. A lot of people in London experience this and they do it themselves and yet are still personally offended when other people do it to them. Um, because there's really no way to get around that. You're hanging around the people you care about and you value the things they have to say, and they end up being mean to you in their jokes. And how do you not take that personally? You know,
Mhm.
I mean, there is a sense of self control, deciding what you want to be offended about or not. That does exist. You can learn to ignore people, or you have a, whenever you feel offended, realign your emotions and act differently than as if you're offended, and help that realign your emotions as well, and just kind of be able to not be offended by anything, have a sense of self-confidence where you're not offended by anything anymore. And that's something you can do, but it's not always easy. It takes practice, um,
Mhm.
and you're not always going to be perfect at it. um, you're going to let your guard down sometime.
Yeah.
It happens, especially in a relationship. um, so, anyways, I totally understand your point, and I think if you want to bring that up, um, and be taken seriously, all you can do is talk about it, like I just did there. And if he doesn't take you seriously, and if he just doesn't worry about it, if he's just ignorant or ignoring your concern, then my suggestion would be to not, as hard as this is, not not subject yourself to his jokes anymore, and that you kind of remove him from your personal environment,
Mhm.
back away, kind of be like trying to softly end the relationship and say, like, but you can even say it to his face in a very nice way, like, um, I don't appreciate being made fun of.
Mhm.
And if you're going to continue to do it, then I don't really want to be around you. And so this is the end of our relationship. I really I don't want to experience that. And unless you want to be nicer to me, then that's cool. Then we should continue the relationship. I'd want to. I think that you're an awesome guy. I see you as a great friend, but it doesn't help me to hang around somebody who's at my throat, or
Yeah.
making me look bad to myself, or making me feel bad. It doesn't help me. Um, and it doesn't really help you either. So if you could stop,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. And unfortunately, all of this is just through communication. You just have to be honest with them and blunt to a degree while being tactful. But it's not easy. You have to make your point and put a little threat behind it and follow up with that threat. If you say these things to them, and and you're sincere, but you don't follow through, it's only going to make things worse. You really have to follow through. You have to distance yourself and say, "No, I don't want to talk to you. Welcome." But I mean, like, if he welcome Kirby. If he if he, continues to just be around you, and even though you've already said, like, "Hey, look, I don't want to be around you." Continue to be like, "No, you're if you just let him be around you after you said you don't want to be around him, it shows him that he can kind of walk all over you. It doesn't matter what you say; he's gonna be there, and it doesn't matter. Um, so yeah, you have to follow through with whatever you say you're gonna do. Unfortunately, even parents have to learn this, and it sucks. You
Yeah.
don't. If you threaten your child and then you don't follow through with it, like, I'm gonna spank if you do that, and then they do it, and you don't spank them. You've only taught them to do what you. Well, you've only taught them not to listen to you. You know. And same thing
Mhm.
with adults. Same thing with teenagers. Between teenagers, between adults. Yeah.
Yep. No, everything that you just said, Ryan, was so spot on, and as far as the practical side of what you need to do, in the situation, that's exactly right. There is a time when you need to assert yourself. And the
Mm.
way Ryan, I mean, Ryan is his personality is so tactfully pure and
Oh, it's so
wonderful.
sweet.
I'm telling you, man, you can smooth over so many things, Ryan, just from your abilities. And so take that, the nugget of wisdom that Ryan just gave you, and that's so hugely powerful. The only thing that I would say is maybe some things you can do in the background in your own life that might
Mm.
help with these interactions that you're going to have. Um, because in order to be taken seriously, you're going to have to be serious. And in order to do that, there has to be, um, you have to first decide where you want your boundaries to be. You need to set those up for yourself. You know, okay, these are the boundaries I'm going to set with this person. And might not take right away, but at least you have, okay, these are clear lines I want to have with this relationship. Maybe you want them to be completely, you don't want to see them ever again. And then it doesn't matter. You can be as rude as you want, you know, because
Wouldn't
you're
recommend
just
it,
going to
but yeah.
destroy the relationship. What's that?
Yeah, wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, you could.
Right. Yeah. But so, but first set up those boundaries. And then, because sometimes I remember, I learned these things to say to people, but I did not have the confidence to do that. And there are a lot of people in that situation where it's like, oh my
It's hard.
gosh, I don't know how I can do this. I know the right thing I'm supposed to do, but I just cannot bring myself to do that because of fear, because of a self-esteem issue I was dealing with, whatever it is, and I don't particularly know your situation, Princess,
She's
but
amazing. That's all you need to
well,
know.
I do know, I do know about the amazing factor, but as far as internally what's going on in your mind and your heart, I'm not other than the amazing. Um, but something I learned is that when you set boundaries for yourself, it kind of almost commands others to respect you, you know. Um, okay, it's not
Mm.
okay. And then some things you can do. Um,
Can you give an
just
example of
huh?
can you give an example of what you were just speaking about?
What do you? What was I just speaking about the
Um,
examples?
setting boundaries, making sure you set boundaries and how doing so will kind of command people to respect you. Can you give like an example of like a boundary that you would set and how you would do that?
Um, well, okay. This one in particular, there are nuances with your relationship, and since you see them in classes and all that kind of stuff, there are nuances that I haven't experienced. But like if I'm meeting a new person, you know, um, I have. It took me a while to set these boundaries, but now I've set up boundaries where it's like, okay, I don't just give my phone number out. You know, I might give my email address, maybe, but this is a boundary that I set in my mind. Okay, I'm not going to go beyond this line. This person's going to know my name. Sometimes I don't even give out my email. Sometimes it's just like I just, say, hey, go to bss.studio, you can, or whatever. And if they decide to find me there, or if the, or maybe they're like, oh, are you on Facebook? Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I only check it like once every 2 months. I don't tell them that. But at the same time, those boundaries, if you are willing to tell somebody no, that can command respect.
Mm.
If this person comes to your place and you're like, oh, I just don't want to deal with this person, maybe on the spot you can come up in your head, oh man, I'm really sorry, I'm just leaving, you know and you can, and this fits into something else that I was going to get into about how to kind of build some of that confidence level if you don't have it yet, to have these difficult conversations. You can start doing some exercise. I don't know if you already do, maybe you can bump it up a little bit of a notch, but physical activity, creates things in your body that then kind of automatically raise your stature in your own mind. These types of things can improve that. So physical activity can do that. Any other types of disciplines that are good, you can start small. And like Ryan was talking about with fasting earlier, you can do things like that. The more you have discipline, even if you're a snooze button hitter, if you stop hitting the snooze button, it increases your self-respect. And those little tiny, seemingly insignificant steps can build a posture in you that will prepare you to have these conversations. And then you'll be able to say, "Oh, you know what? I, I'm really sorry. I'm just heading out to go for a walk, or I'm heading out to go for a run, or head out to, you know, clear my head for a little bit or something. And
Mhm.
then maybe then you're removed from that situation, and he's gonna have to find his own place to study. Maybe
Yep.
he can go back to his room and study.
Right. And that's actually a
Um,
really great line, a very tactful one that says, "Hey, actually, I'm just headed out, gonna take a run to clear my mind or whatever." Then it doesn't give him the opportunity to say, "Oh, can I run with you?" If he does, he say, "No, I just need to clear my mind, so I just need to kind of go by myself and have a conversation, reflect, etc." And they'll be like,
mhm,
"Oh, okay, cool."
yep. And then because if you start to respect yourself more and more and more, then that kind of, you don't even have to say anything. And other people, you kind of start to command that respect more and more with others. And then when you say something, you'll be taken more seriously. So all those kind of little background factors can play into, you know, the conversations that Ryan talked about. You'll just have a more of a posture when you have that conversation,
Hmm.
if that makes sense. I know what it did for me.
Cool. Does that help, Princess? Does that give you the answers you're looking for, or did we fail to answer any of your concern there? Because I totally understand it's not easy.
Yes. Yep. It is tough to use a boundary with people if you like it it really has to be clear in your own mind, just like
Hmm.
that. I mean that, so
Yeah.
then and you get to decide. That's the coolest thing about it.
Hmm.
You get to decide.
Yeah, I have people every once in a while ask for my shipping address, just because they want to be able to send me stuff in the mail. But I have a boundary there just because I'm not the only one that lives where I live.
Mm,
There, at the time I was living with a bunch of kids and it wasn't even my house. So that allowed me to say like, no, sorry, I just can't give it to you. Like we're best friends. I get that. Like, but I'm not giving it to you because it's just what I've set. And, it's my brother's house and it's his children. And if somehow someone else gets a hold of this information, I'm not saying that you are going to do something bad, but who knows who could find this, so, or hear my conversation or whatever. So I'm just not going to,
mm,
I've got a lot on my plate here as far as making sure no one gets hurt. So, you know,
mhm,
um, y- you know, and it is kind of weird because drawing that line presents itself that, um, like, oh, you don't trust me kind of idea thing. But in that sense, there's other boundaries that don't do that. It's just like, sorry, I have to be bed at this time. This is my thing, don't, you know, or whatever it is, that sort of boundary. But yeah, certain boundaries might make people feel like you don't trust them. But at the same time, like Joe said, that also demands a certain sense of respect and
mhm,
that um, coming to that amount of trust or amount of respect uh, is something that has to be earned over time, um, and that sort of thing, and through their attitude and influence in your life and etc. So, um, Yeah, it's just kind of part of life, and it's not always beautiful. It's not always pretty, but
Mm.
it is a good thing and it's important. I mean, obviously, we have boundaries already. Like, hey, I'm not going to do this terribly, completely immoral act or like killing somebody. No, like if someone comes up to me like, hey, will you kill Josh over there? And I'll be like, no. Well, you don't trust me? That's a good idea. It's nothing to do with trust. I just don't kill people. All right. Similarly, it's like I just don't give away my number. All right. I don't give away my address. You know.
The slightly above
Have a
average Joe is here.
Oh, have a nice dinner, Noah.
Yes.
Oh, hey, King of Carp. Welcome. Nice to see you. We're probably just about ending though. Um,
Yeah. Princess, thank you for the question.
mhm.
That was
Thank you.
wonderful. Hi,
Yeah.
Joe. It's great to
Hey,
see you here.
Joe. Yeah, you're an amazing dude. We all love you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um, cool. Well, thanks for joining us. Sorry for you, for those of you who have just joined at the end of this. Um, we did go on for a lot longer, maybe 2 hours instead of
Yeah,
one.
about 2 hours exactly, looks like.
Yeah, which is, hey, no regrets. I just hope that Joe can do whatever he needs to do on a timely manner.
Huh?
Um, so
Oh, me?
yeah, yeah, you, not the other Joe, you. I don't care about
Well,
the other Joe.
we do hope that
Fine.
all Joes around the world can do what they need to
Yeah,
do in a
all of
timely.
the Joes, definitely, every single one of them. You know. Um,
Joey, Joseph, we'll call you Joseph, so as
there
to
you
avoid the confusion. Yes, we will be posting it, but we'll probably post it in segments, so it's not a
go. Yeah,
it's not a super
the
long.
live stream will remain public. You can go take a look at it anytime. But yes, we will try to post it in segments, like Joe said, because that's going to be a lot easier for most people. If they see like, oh, 2 hours, I'm not going to watch that. But if they see like 8 minutes, they'll click on it and
Mhm,
then they'll watch 8 minutes and 8 minutes and 8 minutes, 8 minutes up till 2 hours.
mhm.
That's the way people work. It's weird. Um, until they're more used to listening to people talk for 2 hours. I think it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are amazing that
Yeah.
you
All
guys
of
have
you
hung
stuck
with
around the whole
us
time.
through this whole thing.
Yeah,
Holy
seriously, what
cow,
the heck?
that's
Yeah.
incredible, and all of your questions were fantastic. I love being here and, trying as best I can to help. I do wanna say I don't think we said it at the beginning, but we're not professionals. I know it's posted somewhere, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're not professional therapists, we're not
Right.
lawyers, we're not police officers, we're not, you know,
We're not corn stalks either.
we're not
I don't know where
cards,
you
we're
got that
not
idea.
professional piglets. Um, but but in all seriousness, there is a time when professional help, is needed, and sometimes we may direct people, it might be good to see a therapist. I've been through that, and I've been down that road, and it was very helpful. But what we have here, we can offer encouragement and some perspective along the journey,
Mhm,
and we would just want to give back. I mean, you guys are so awesome. We have such an incredible community at BSS Studio. I know a lot of you guys are there,
mhm,
um, and contributors. And holy cow, we just feel so incredibly blessed that to be surrounded by such an amazing community. And every single one of you that's
mhm.
here, wow, thank you for being here, and thanks for your questions and for your comments in the chats and for all this stuff. I mean, you know, to look over, sometimes it's hard not to laugh some of the things that are said because they're
Yeah.
funny. And I'm like, Ryan saying something really serious, and I'm like, oh geez, I don't want to, I don't want to read the comment and start laughing because that would totally be out of context, like in the
Yeah, yeah, say something really serious, you just laugh at it, and be like, "What the heck? What the heck, man? We can do this."
uh,
Yeah,
Kirby, I don't think Ryan is a dog, but he does like potards.
that's right, just like any other dog would,
Any other
but I'm
dog
not a dog.
likes the potards.
Unless you wanna be like, "Yo, dog, what's up?" I'll be like, "Hey, cat, how's it cooking?"
I
And you'd be
wasn't
like, I'm not a
cooking.
cat and I'm not cooking. Whatever, dog. I'm just trying to talk to you.
You could be cooking too, dog.
Yeah.
Depends on
Dog.
what kind of restaurant you're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, potards are delicious.
Potards are delicious. Nice.
Yes,
I mean,
they are.
yeah. Cooking dogs? Yeah, if you want.
Hot dogs, man.
Yeah. Nice.
Some
All the hot dogs.
I say when people are cooking hot dogs outside, I just say they're hot dogging it. That's my phraseology.
That's great.
Mm-hmm. I'm just hot dogging it in my backyard.
Hot dogging it.
That way people can kind of figure out what you're doing from that and be like, that's an interesting term.
I'm
It's
just
like the hot dog in the back, in the backyard, just like the
Yeah.
hot dog it.
Yeah.
Just hot dogging it, And
Yeah.
people be like, what is he talking about? Well, what's the verb form of hot dog? Hot dogging. So you're either eating it or you're cooking it. And you get to decide. You do both.
And it's hot dog. What? So if you're putting ketchup on it, are you still hot dogging it?
You're catching up in it.
Catching up in it.
Actually, you're catching up in it right in it. Right in the hot dog. You're catching up in it in it.
You're
In
hot
it.
dogging the catching up in it. Catching
Hot
up in the
dog.
relish and the hot dog in it.
Yes.
Well, dog it.
Yes, precisely.
Oh, we've derailed, but thank you.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks for
So-
joining, everybody. We love you all.
Suddenly, what's the font used for the BSS logo? Yes, I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Probably like Cabrini or something weird. Something that starts with a C, or maybe something that starts with a V. I actually don't know. It was I was using Adobe a long time ago when I made that. So then Calibri? Cab. Anyways, that's probably not
Calibri.
even
Calibri is one, or Cabrilli.
Cabrilli, is it? I don't know. It's probably not even the right font. I'm just thinking of a font. Anyways, I don't know. It's a long past. So in order to get that font, you'll just have to search for hours on different programs, or just do your best to copy it.
And good luck finding an S with a wing.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the one that's in the Black Static and Swerve website, it's a combination of two fonts. One from a really long time ago, and then one that was the closest kind of matching looking one. So the B, S, and S are from a specific font, and the rest of it's from a different font. So it gets kind of confusing. I would say don't worry about the font so much. Pick whatever's closest if you're trying to get close. And yeah, obviously there's some artwork done in it. I've brushed up the wing in it, just a wing in it, and made a wing in it,
which was super cool.
Yeah,
I'll never forget the first time I saw that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's the one."
Aw,
I said it in that voice in my brain.
You said it like a smoker kind of voice. Yeah.
I see.
We're catching up in the hot diggity dog in it.
Nice. So, anyways, cool. Well, thank you all for joining. Calibri, that's it.
Magical wings of death and destruction.
I love you all. So does Joe. I speak for the Joe. And
Yes.
we will see you next Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yes, next week, 7
Next
o'clock.
week.
We're gonna see if we can start at 7.
Yep.
And yes, coming back and see us.
And
I love
if
you, I can speak for me too.
No, you can't. So no. Yeah, you can speak for yourself. I'll let you do that. I won't until we contest with something. We both have different things that we want to say for you, and then I'll just override because I'm not a Joe. So
Good.
I have the outside perspective.
I need that.
Yeah, I think we all do, including me, the Ryan. Yeah, Jesse's been doing some streams on Twitch. We're Twitch affiliate now, so if you don't know how to get there and you want to attend the streams, I'm sure you know about them. But if you haven't already followed there, me and Jesse do streams on Twitch. You go to twitch.tv/BSS_streaming. Unfortunately, I have to sign in to chat on YouTube. It's telling me, so I can't post a link, but you'll find it if you're really looking for it. Anyways, thank you all for joining us, and Don't Worry Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Much,
back again.
much
Oh,
love, many
Princess, yeah.
blessings. We'll see you
Saves
next
the
time.
day.
Thank you, Princess. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys.